Ever wonder how the most secure organizations on the planet actually stay that way? I'll give you a hint. It's not some crazy expensive new technology. It's actually much simpler. It's a solid foundation of clear rules. So today, we're going to pull back the curtain and give you the blueprint. I mean, just think about it for a second. In your own organization, you could have hundreds, maybe thousands of people, all with different jobs, different skills, different levels of access. So how on earth do you get everyone marching in the same direction, all on the same page about security? It's a huge question. Well, the answer, surprisingly, is pretty straightforward. It all kicks off when everybody agrees on the rules of the road. It's about creating a common language for how we all decide to stay safe together. All right, so here's our game plan. We'll start with the official foundation, the ISO standard. Then we'll dig into the two types of policies, what I like to call the Constitution and the laws. After that, we'll see how they work in the real world, and finally, how this all comes together to build a strong security culture. Okay, so let's get into it. Now, we're not just pulling these ideas out of thin air. We're grounding this whole explainer in the global playbook, the international standard, ISO/IEC 27002. And we're zeroing in on Control 5.1, which is all about security policies. This is basically step one for any organization that's serious about protecting its information. Now, to make this whole thing really click, let's use an analogy. I want you to imagine your company's entire security setup is like a country's government. You've got a high-level constitution that lays out the big guiding principles, right? And then you have specific laws that tell people how to act every single day. That structure is everything. So let's start at the top with that main document, the Security Constitution. This is your primary overarching information security policy. It's the 30,000-foot view. Did you catch that key word in the official definition? Approach. That's so important. This high-level policy, it's not going to get into the weeds of password length or firewall rules. Nope. It's all about setting the direction for the whole company. It's the why behind all the other rules that follow. It's your North Star. And this right here is the core idea you've got to get. On one side, you have the Constitution, your big picture policy filled with high-level principles. And on the other side, you've got the laws. These are your detailed, hands-on, actionable rules for specific things, like using email or connecting to the Wi-Fi. This table shows you why this system is so smart. That main Constitution, it has to be approved by top management, the C-suite. That sends a powerful message that this is a major priority. But the specific laws, those can be approved by the right manager for the job. You know, the head of IT can sign off on the access control policy. This little difference is what makes the whole framework both powerful and practical. Okay, so let's move on to those everyday laws. This is where the rubber meets the road. These are the rules that guide what people actually do day in and day out, turning those big ideas from the Constitution into real-world actions. So what are these laws, really? The official term is topic-specific policies. All that means is they zoom in on one single subject, like, say, encryption or backups, and give you a super clear, practical rulebook for just that one thing. And these laws, they cover everything you can imagine. The standard gives us great examples, like access control, who gets to see what data, or secure development, how your engineers build safe products from the ground up. There's even a policy for physical security, like who can get into the server room. Each one is a little mini guide for a specific risk, leaving no room for guesswork. All right, so we've got our Constitution and we've got our laws, but how do they actually work? A policy isn't something you just write once and then shove in a drawer. No way. It's a living, breathing part of the organization, and it has its own life cycle. See, a policy isn't just a document. It's a process. It starts with defining and approving the rule. But the next two steps, this is where so many organizations fall flat. You have to publish and communicate it clearly. Then you have to get people to actually acknowledge that they've read it and they get it. And it's not over yet. That final step, regular review, is absolutely critical. Because let's be real, a policy from 2 years ago might as well be from the Stone Age. It's a vulnerability. And this quote, straight from the standard, is so important. A policy that's impossible to find, written in dense legalese that nobody can understand, it's completely useless. The point isn't just to check a box. The point is genuine understanding. The policy has to be accessible and make sense to the actual human beings who have to follow it every single day. This brings us to the final and I think most important point. We've talked about documents, standards, processes, but what does all of this really mean for you and for your company? At the end of the day, these policies are not just paperwork to keep the auditors happy. They are a shared promise. They are the entire organization, from the CEO all the way down to the brand new hire, making an agreement on how to work together to stay safe. That's how you build a real, living culture of security. And that leaves us with one last thing to think about. A policy on its own is just ink on paper. It's the people, it's you who bring it to life. It needs you to read it, to understand it, and to live it out in your daily work. So the real question isn't just what the policy says, it's what's your role in making it real.